Goldfish have been bred for centuries, and at this point, it should come as no surprise that there are almost infinite types of goldfish out there, starting from the standard variety, such as the common goldfish, to some of the most eye-catching fancy ones, like the bubble-eye goldfish and the veil-tail goldfish. The standard or common goldfish are easy to care for, while the fancy goldfish are generally recommended for the experienced hobbyist, as these fish can require some advanced care. The fancy goldfish have the added bonus of being extremely pretty. So, what if you are looking for a goldfish that is still relatively easy to care for, but stunning to look at? That is where the Oranda goldfish comes in. It is beautiful, but not that complicated to look after. Here are some things you need to know about this variety of goldfish. Welcome to our channel! In today's video, we will be discussing the Oranda goldfish. Before we continue, be sure to hit the like button and click that notification bell. That way you'll know when our new videos are posted. Okay, so what is an Oranda goldfish? The word Oranda is derived from the Chinese word for Dutch lion head and refers to the unique shape of the head of this fish. This should not be confused with a lionhead goldfish though. Through years of selective breeding, these fish have developed caps, which are nothing but a series of growths on their head. These are also known as wen or crown. While these caps do not serve any functional purpose, they make the goldfish aesthetically a lot more pleasing. It acts as a nice counterpoint for the short belly and flowing fins of this fish. These can come in a variety of colors and shapes. The most common type of Oranda goldfish are black Oranda, red cap Oranda, and blue Oranda, with the red cap variety arguably being the most popular, and we will take a look at them in a little bit more detail later. Are Oranda goldfish difficult to take care of? As alluded to earlier, the Oranda goldfish sits somewhere in between the standard variety of goldfish and the really fancy ones. Hence, it's not recommended for absolute beginners. The Oranda should definitely not be someone's first fish. It can, however, be the ideal candidate for someone who has at least a few months of keeping fish and wants to graduate to something that is a bit more challenging, but still very much manageable for someone who doesn't have all the time and resources in the world. It is a great stepping stone into the world of intermediate fish keeping. Are Oranda goldfish aggressive? While their name means a lion head, which might convey that it could be aggressive, it is anything but. It is one of the most docile fish out there that won't bother other fish and does well in groups of its own kind. However, it must be remembered that like most goldfish, they have a vociferous appetite and will pretty much gobble up anything that they can fit in their mouths, including smaller fish. Apart from that, these fish do not pose any risk to their tank mates. What tank setup do Oranda goldfish need? Even though these fish have the typical flowing fins of goldfish, they are quite active and need plenty of space. It is highly recommended that each fish has at least 20 gallons to itself. They also tend to grow big and live for over 15 years. You should be ready for that commitment. Another important thing to remember is that these fish love digging through substrate. As such, care should be taken while choosing the substrate to ensure that it is not sharp, as that can hurt the fish. Apart from these, there are no specific requirements when it comes to the tank setup. Adding any specific type of decor totally depends on the kind of aesthetics you are looking for. Just make sure that there is no sharp edges anywhere and there are plenty of open spaces for the fish to swim in. Ideal water parameters and tank mates for Oranda goldfish. Oranda goldfish are fairly hardy, but if you want them to thrive and be happy, the tank conditions need to be maintained between a certain range. Unlike regular goldfish, the Orandas do not tolerate really low temperatures all that well. The temperature should be maintained between 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 71.5 degrees Fahrenheit, or 20 degrees Celsius to 22 degrees Celsius. As you can see, this is quite a bit lower than the recommended range for most tropical fish. This plays a big role in choosing tank mates for these fish. If the temperature is too high, their metabolism will speed up and they won't be able to live for as long as they should. Water hardness should be between 6 to 18 DH. and the pH should be as close to neutral as possible, even though they can just as easily tolerate slightly acidic or alkaline water. These fish also produce a lot of waste, and the filtration system should be able to handle that. The best tank mates for Oranda goldfish are other goldfish. Cyprinids fish or catfish also make for good teammates, as they can be kept under similar conditions. The most important aspect of keeping these fish is ensuring the tank is kept clean and well oxygenated. There should be plenty of flow outside the aquarium. Otherwise, the cap can become a breeding ground for bacteria and fungi that can cause health problems. Feeding and breeding Oranda goldfish. Feeding is one area where the Oranda goldfish is not at all demanding. In fact, these fish accept food so readily that they can easily be overfed and gain weight quickly. As such, it is important to ensure that they are fed a balanced diet and in controlled quantities. Commercially available fish food with a good mix of proteins and vegetable matter is good enough for this fish. You can supplement that with some leafy vegetables like spinach. Breeding them is quite easy too. All you need is a breeding tank and a gravid female. Add the female and a couple of males to the breeding tank. Add a breeding mat and you are done. The fish will spawn in 2 or 3 days, after which the adult can be removed. The fry will hatch in a week's time, and they can be fed infusoria and crushed fish food. Special mention, red cap Oranda. The red cap Oranda deserves a special mention all of its own because of how iconic it is. It is one of the most popular goldfish varieties out there. It differs from other Orandas in that the cap is restricted just to the top of its head and gives it the appearance of wearing a bright red crown. It can often be confused with a lionhead goldfish, but the two have some distinct features. The lionhead has the growth not just on its head, but all around its face. The red cap also has a dorsal fin, which the lionhead lacks. As far as the care is concerned, the red cap can be a bit more sensitive towards temperature, but apart from that, they do not need anything other than the things mentioned above. Have you had Orandas in your tank? If so, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.